are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Yeah, hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 p.m. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE. Here we go, kill the whistle. Oh yeah, we are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 p.m. Don't come doing the HATE. Otherwise Hollywood will give you the BYE.
BYE, what's going on, guys? I actually wanted to change up the intro for my night talk, but unfortunately I wasn't able to upload it fast enough. Yeah. Shaytree, I was reading all your comments about your dog having Lyme disease. I am so sorry that's the case for you. I'm glad you got her off of the antibiotics, though. Guys, on the night talk, man, we're gonna talk whatever y'all want to talk about, man. If you want to talk dogs, we're gonna talk dogs. If you want to talk politics, we could talk politics. I do want to say, in the world of bullies, something happened today between President Trump and President Zelensky of the Ukraine that always lets you know never be in a weak position, especially when it comes to negotiations and leverage. Anthony Whelan, all right, man, all the way from Ireland. I was going to say top of the morning, but I know you guys don't say that there. Good morning. So I wanted to play this clip where President Trump and Zelensky go at it, and I then want to go back and talk about it. I want to talk about certain things because when you first see it, you feel sorry for President Zelensky in the Ukraine. But when you kind of uncover the layers and you start realizing what's really at stake and what's really being argued, that's when you start realizing, okay, this is how the world works. So let me go ahead and maximize it here. Let me go ahead and play it.
The United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side is exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough, but you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he
I
killed.
was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's
I
respectful
will answer.
to come to the Oval Office
I will
of the United
answer.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not
you
have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're
I'm
doing.
not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you, You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and
of
he
the
happens
war.
to be right
From
about
the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was-
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think
You're gambling with World War III.
What you're
You're
thinking about?
gambling with
What you're
World
thinking
War
about?
III. And
Yeah.
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country,
I'm
that's
with all
backed
respect to
you
you.
far more than a lot of people said
Very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire
today.
meeting, where you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
What you're
America
speaking about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that
Yeah.
if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can.
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big
Oh.
trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You
Wow.
have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks.
Been
You haven't
alone.
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your president.
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for your
are brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If
West?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course,
It's
yes.
going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I
Accept-
said a lot of
accept
times
that
thank
there-
you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long.
Hmm.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. You're People are
I
dying.
can tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers. Listen,
Don't play
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That
It
wasn't
doesn't
with
matter for
me.
you what.
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if
Putin
Russia breaks the
breaks
ceasefire?
for the
What if they?
Russians?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken
What if they
ceasefire
broke it?
many
I don't
times.
know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But what-
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden.
All right, let me go ahead and stop that right there, and let me address some of the things that are being asked. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my focus here, and also let me explain my position and what I think is really going on. So, Miss Sally, where you at, Sally? She says it was a scripted ambush. I would pretty much agree with that. I pretty much agree with that. LBB says Trump looks so weak right now. He should be standing up for democracy instead of bowing down to a dictator like Putin. Okay. Queens is saying, my question is why they keep cutting him off and interrupting him. So let me give you what I think. Let me give you what I think. Let's enter into conversation. And you guys could definitely agree with me or disagree. Detailer says, I love this insight. I feel like these conversations are powerful and give people perspective and knowledge instead of headlines. That zip up hoodie with hat combo would be awesome on the wheel. Hey, we're working on it, man. So look, earlier tonight, you guys well know I went live. And it's kind of crazy because, and I just changed my background, right? This was my background earlier. We were talking about large breeders versus small breeders, right? We were talking about who has the leverage, right? And what you're seeing here, in my opinion, is nothing more than a leverage situation. And what I mean by this is I totally agree. Big Island, how you doing? I totally agree that, Putin attacked, Putin pressed. Zelensky wanted Ukraine to be able to join NATO. Russia is not going to allow that. That's almost like allowing Mexico, like us, the U.S., allowing Mexico to join a China, Russia, Iran alliance, right? We're just not going to stand for that. So I'm not trying to defend Putin. For me, Putin is a rat. And so is Xi Jinping in China, right? But somebody had put a comment that Trump sounds like a mobster. Here's the thing, guys. I don't know if you realize it, but Putin is a freaking mobster. Xi Jinping is a freaking mobster. Dude in North Korea is a mobster. Dude in Iran is a freaking mobster. We just had an old man with dementia in the presidency, and not only did Putin do whatever he wanted to do, in my opinion, Zelensky, he pretty much got this old man and the U.S. to give 300 and somewhat billion. We're over here financing the war along with Europe. But obviously Europe is not paying what we're paying, right? Which leads me to LBB's comment. Trump looks so weak right now. He should be standing up for democracy instead of bowing down to a dictator like Putin. Well, that's very easy to say, LBB, when you have Putin right around the freaking corner. And European nations not so long ago were buying oil and gas from Putin because it was cheap and it was convenient. In addition, they weren't paying the percentage that we were paying as far as NATO. They were paying, I believe, was 2% of their GDP. That's what was required, and they weren't even paying that. So it's very easy to sit here and say, okay, well, I want the U.S. to do this and the U.S. to do that. Well, let me explain something to you. Here in the U.S., right? And it's tough, man, because I know what is happening in the Ukraine sucks. And I do understand that Putin attacked a nation that hadn't attacked him. I get that. But I'm also going to tell you what I think realistically goes on in the world. Nobody gives a shit. In America, we give a shit about America. And in England, they give a shit about England. We see it from afar. We'll give you a hammer to go fight them. But if I got to give you a hammer every 5 minutes and I gotta give you $100 every other day, sooner than later, I'm either going to run out of money or I'm going to want to get paid back. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, unfortunately for the Ukraine, they're in a position where the U.S. and Europe is financing their war. You cannot fight a war without an economy. Economy is what, while the economy's still going, that's what gives you the ability to fight a war. If you don't have the economy, then whoever's financing you, right, calls the shots. So when you come over here and you get down on your knees and you beg, for the U.S. president or whoever to give you money to fight, don't think that the minute you do that, you're giving leverage to whoever you're asking money to. That person, that country, that entity, I don't care what it is, becomes your banker. I don't know about you, but I don't ever want to owe a banker or a lawyer nothing. You cannot blame Trump because he wants to end this war. He doesn't want to keep funding NATO, where European nations are slacking and not paying the amounts that they've had to pay for years. And in addition, he wants to make sure the U.S. does not get drawn into a war, a third world war over Ukraine, because even though Ukraine is fighting the right fight, they're fighting their fight. We have no business going into a third world war over Ukraine. We don't. Bottom line, I'm just keeping it serious with you. We have Venezuela over here in the Western Hemisphere, who's got Hamas, who's got Iranian rockets that could actually reach to the U.S. And we're going to be more concerned about Ukraine that's all the way across the world. And, we're part of NATO, which doesn't want to pay all their freaking bills, but everybody everybody's expecting us to front the money and cover everybody's back. And I'm sorry to tell you, the world is a lot like the bully world, and it's a lot like jail. When you're in jail, you don't go around asking people for a Snickers bar. All right? Because they're going to give you a Snickers bar. And then they're really going to give you the Snickers bar, if you know what I'm talking about. And unfortunately for Ukraine, you know, they have a stronger, bigger partner next to them. And, they're in a position where it's a no-win situation. However, they do have, the only leverage they had left, which is these rare earth minerals, allow the U.S. to pretty much come in and own it, right? But Zelensky wants guarantees. Here's the deal, Zelensky. You don't know this yet, but you lost the war, bro. The reason you lost the war is because the main financier, the main banker you got paying you, loaning you, however you want to call it, doesn't want to loan you anymore. And didn't, the advantage that you were able to take of the Biden administration, it's not happening with Trump. In fact, Trump has said it 100 million times. This war would have never happened had I been president. And not only that, Trump has had to go into NATO and say, Ukraine is not going to be part of NATO. If they are, then we're out. And if we're out, what's NATO? Real quick, we have a comment, LBB, Ukraine would be smart to join NATO, Raul. You don't remember back when Ukraine did the peace deal the first time and got rid of their nukes for the deal of peace, but Putin invaded, just stupid. Listen, LBB, listen, bro. There's a lot more being played here than what you're seeing on the surface. It really sucks to be in the position of Ukraine. But LBB, and I'm going to ask all Americans that are here on this live, are we willing to go to the third world war for Ukraine? And I can tell you before I see the results overwhelmingly, the answer is no. Because as much as it's screwed up, as much as it's horrible, okay, human beings, we care about our immediate security, our immediate economy, our immediate, us, me, our selfishness, each country in the world. And so, no, we're not ready to go into third world war for Ukraine as much as, they're fighting the noble fight and all that good stuff. That's just a fact. And when you have zero leverage, which Ukraine has right now, and your main banker, you got two main bankers. You got the European Union and you got the U.S. U.S. has put over $300 billion over there. European Union has put about $119 billion, right? When your main backer is saying, we're going to sign the rare earth agreement, we're going to put American companies to excavate these rare earths or whatever, you should be smart enough to know that having American companies excavating and whatnot is a deterrent for Russia to be attacking militarily. At least not where the rare earth is. Just hear me out, because people are like, well, listen, the U.S., just like any other superpower, we're not going to go there and be your security and loan you money and do all this until you want to do it forever and ever because you're fighting a noble war. Trump doesn't want to lend you another dollar. And that's his prerogative. He's the president of the United States of America, doesn't want to do it anymore. He just told you. And if he doesn't back you up anymore, if you think Russia has taken land, it's really going to get ugly here real quick. And I can tell you, without the backing of the U.S., I've been in Europe, man. I was in the army. I don't know everything, but I can tell you, man, and we did military exercises with the Australian military when I was in Hawaii, with German military. I'm just not impressed. I'm not impressed with neither the equipment you got, nor not even the mindset. Europe is not ready for a war. They're just not. And if your main banker doesn't want to pay, you're screwed. You're screwed. And you should have known that here in America, every 4 years, there are presidential elections. You did what you wanted with Biden. And what really pissed off Trump and J.D. Vance, in my opinion, because J.D. Vance brought it up, was that, Zelensky came, when Biden was campaigning or whatnot. And no, he didn't campaign or anything, but, Biden was pretty much doing what Zelensky wanted. So Zelensky was kind of, supporting, the side that was giving him what he wanted. Now that side lost. And the new side that came in is letting you know you might want to sign this rare earth deal. You're going to be better off because if I back out, that dude over there is going to swallow your country up. And this cat decides to come into the state. Now, somebody said, Sally said, she felt that it was a man. What are the words? I'm sorry, Sally. I'm trying to find your words here. You felt that this was orchestrated. I'm going to tell you this, Sally. I think it was orchestrated 100%, but I don't think it was orchestrated by Trump or J.D. Vance. I think it was orchestrated by Zelensky. I think Zelensky understands that I don't care how powerful a president is, the American people are the ones that truly have the power. And just like in Vietnam, how things got soured through the media, I felt he took a chance. And the reason I say I felt he took a chance is because we just voted for the first time, right, to not condemn Russia at the UN for invading Ukraine. So basically, Trump's already letting you know we're not backing you on any more wars. You then fly over here because we're about to sign this rare earth deal, and you decide right there on national television to do what? They're not going to, regardless of what you said or what you would have said, they're not going to pay another dollar for you to fight. So what ended up happening was this blew up in Zelensky's face. There is no rare earth deal. He got kicked out of the White House by Trump. And now he's going back to Ukraine, and all he's got left to finance him is Europe. So LBB, since, you've been making a lot of comments about Trump and Europe and this, that, and the third, this is Europe's time to shine. Instead of giving 119 billion, stick your hands in your pockets and fork over 400 billion and stand up to Russia and do it. Instead of, oh, the U.S. should be doing this and Trump should be doing that. No, this is your perfect opportunity to stand up. The 300 billion, some odd billion that Trump is about to not support Zelensky in, dig deep in your pockets. As we know, European nations are, they're never, I would say in the last, ever since Trump's first mandate and even now, his biggest beef with NATO is that NATO is only paying about 35% of the bill. So you see, you can't pay 35, 40, 49.9% of the bill and think you're going to have it your way. It doesn't work that way. You see, LBB? So you've been talking all this stuff about Trump, and the US. Okay. But now what I want to see you do, LBB, so I want you to bang the table for Ukraine, and I want you to tell England, right, that they need to fork over more money along with the European Union to make up for the $300 billion the US is not going to give Ukraine. At the end of the world, at the end of the day, you're even saying here you want Ukraine to join NATO. The US, being a NATO member, has the right to say, we don't want Ukraine to join NATO, but you want them to join NATO. Okay, perfect. Let us get out and let NATO pay and support militarily for the Ukraine. Let's see how long that's going to go. Because, you know, even when the war started for up to a month or two after, Germany was still getting liquid gas from Russia. So you see, you can't have it both ways. Let me catch up to the comments, man. I know I haven't been talking on the comments, but this is the deal, guys. You do not come to the U.S. after 4 years of having it your way, knowing full well we're not going to support you anymore on your war, and you're just coming here to sign a deal. And then you decide, you know what, screw your deal. The cameras are rolling. I'm going to plead to the American public. Okay, you just pled to the American public. You just got kicked out of the White House. You don't have a deal. And the only thing that you got backing you now is NATO. NATO, the same NATO that doesn't pay their bills for NATO. Same European countries that don't want to put 2% towards that. Same countries that were buying Russian oil and Russian liquid for the last decade. Yeah, the same one. See, because what happened over there in Europe is y'all forgot that Russia was the enemy because your fuel costs were cheap. See, you allowed your priorities. You got your priorities fucked up. That's what happened. And so, man, Russia's offering $2 a gallon. Why would we want to pay $3.50 international market value? Well, you don't want to do that because Russia's your enemy. Oh, but on top of the fact that we're going to buy this cheap oil from Russia, we're also not going to pay the full 2% that is being required of us by NATO. Then when the shit hits the fan, LBB, then it's all about Trump and the U.S. and we need to come into the rescue. Why? Why? Who are your regional neighbors? Right? Like, why is Germany buying liquid oil? Like, historically, why are these European nations, why would Poland want to buy anything from Russia? I'm just saying. Oh, when the shit hits the fan, now the U.S. needs to go there and help you out. Well, you see, what's happening now is for the first time in a long time, we actually have a president that, even though we call him president, he is more of a CEO of a company. And he's looking at, does this make money for me or does it not? And when it doesn't, and he makes you accountable, see, that's the dangers now. This is the dangers that Europe is now going to be facing, because for the last 30 years before even Trump showed up, y'all got really accustomed to us picking up the tab and us always guarding your back. And don't get me wrong, man, we're allies. But that doesn't mean when we're allies that rather than you paying 2% of GDP, you're only going to pay 1%, and you're going to buy cheap oil from the very enemy that's looking to invade you. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. It became real convenient for you. I've been to Europe. I've been to Europe many times. There's no other part in the world that I've been to where I've met a culture of people as a whole, where money and everything is a nickel and dime game. Everything revolves around money. in Europe. Every decision you're going to make, everything is money. And that turned around and beat you in the ass because you sat there and you bought cheap energy from Russia. Even Mexico, the only one being natural right now is Japan. Worse has happened, and you guys will probably lose your NATO allies the way it's going. Look at, bro, we don't care about our NATO allies, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you, LBB. You're not paying your bills. You're buying from the enemy. We don't give a shit. It's almost like all right, bro, I'm your friend. We're here. But you're going to pick a fight in the club, and I'm telling you not to, but you don't give a shit. You're going to pick the fight anyways, and that's on you, bro. That's on you. The U.S. does not only have Russia as an enemy, all right? We have even a bigger enemy that's probably a bigger enemy without going into the, conventional warfare, and that's China economically. And then you have the European Union, or NATO, better yet, rather than making it easier for us so that we could concentrate on other things. No, y'all want to pay less and you want to buy from there because it's cheap. And don't worry, the shit hits the fan. They get our back. Yeah, y'all going to learn real quick. Shit's about to change, bro. I'm going to tell you that right now. Shay Tree says, salute Raul and respect from beginning to end. Thank you, Shay. Rare earth deal. Yeah, that's all he had left is a rare earth deal to have American companies exploited over there. And hopefully that dissuades the Russians from attacking, because obviously if a missile goes 2 clicks left and it hits, Lord forbid, an American excavating team, then, shit happens. But, I hate it for Zelensky. But if you're in a poker table and you're playing poker and you have no more chips, and I'm going to lend you a chip, and I'm going to tell you how you're going to play. That's how the geopolitics works, like it or not. All right. And one thing about Trump, he's fed up of these European countries buying cheap energy from Russia and not paying their freaking bills and looking the other way, and then when the shit hits the fan, then we're supposed to drop everything and go save you. No, not going to happen like that anymore. Not going to happen. You're going to pay your bills. And you're going to learn who you're going to buy your oil from. Because that monster, you created that monster yourself, Europe. You absolutely did. You was buying that cheap. Germany had allowed Russia to build a pipeline basically to it, buying liquid gas and oil. Russia only wants Ukraine for its rare minerals and resources. Wake up, people. Okay, and what else is new? Okay. Look, man, big fish eats the little fish. Whether we're talking geopolitics, whether we're talking dog breeding, whether we're talking fishing in a lake. Bass, they're after the smaller fish. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is what it is, bro. Coach K says, when you get cocky, watch the direction you point it towards. Right. What got me was Zelensky having absolutely no bullets in the chamber, having no leverage whatsoever. He decides to pull this off, knowing full well who Trump is, knowing full well he doesn't take shit from nobody. Bro, you got a good 3 years worth of American equipment and American money. We're your number one supplier, your number one financier, right? Oh, Europe wants guarantees. The other European nations. You're not paying your fucking bill. You don't have a say in this agreement. What the fuck you think this is? NATO requires 2%. You're not paying 2%, and you're buying cheap energy from Russia, the very enemy that's invading Ukraine. Then you want to come here and you want to talk shit about the US and Trump? Nah, bro. We're just not taking it on the chin anymore. Y'all got way too comfy. Yeah. I'm pretty sure shit's about to change. Big Island Bully fan. Game over. Yeah. You had 3 years to fight and somehow come to a ceasefire, figure it out, you know. Now you have a new president that doesn't want to finance you. So now you have zero leverage. And maybe the rare earth that Russia so wants, that George is talking about here, instead of giving it to Russia, why don't you pay back your ally that's giving you $300 billion by giving us access to those rare earths? And while we're there, hopefully, you know, that deters Russia from attacking you. Oh no, we want guarantees, and our European part. Listen, your European partners are not even paying 50% of the deal. NATO is nothing without the United States of America. Nothing. If Trump just voted to not in the UN, the US just voted to not condemn Russia, and we're letting you come over here to sign the rare earth deal. Bro, don't come playing games on national television and think that you're going to appeal to the American public in that manner. American public is sick of having to pay billions and billions and billions for your war over there. I told you from the beginning of this live, as noble as your fight is, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. We care about our immediate security, our immediate finances. And that's not just us. That's every single country in the world. Because LBB is over here talking out his ear. But I'm pretty sure you tell the Brits, oh, we're going to have to do a 3% tax for Ukraine. I already know they're going to shoot the shit. So, you know, this Zelensky, President Zelensky goes back to Ukraine. No deal. You just pissed off your main financier and ally, because we're the main ones paying. And what you got left? Europe? I won't see how long that's going to last. When you get cocky, yeah. I made it to the late night talk. What's up, Nicholas Martinez? Stand up. Yeah, LBB, democracy doesn't have a price, brother. It definitely does, bro. It definitely does. That's where you're out in left field. Democracy definitely has a price. Freedom has a price. Okay, freedom has a price. Okay. And when you are David and you're fighting Goliath, you bet your sweet ass that dude that's selling you putting the stones so you could sling, that's your financier, and he's got a price on you. That's geopolitical politics, bro. If you don't know that, I don't know what to tell you. No one could tell me Zelensky did not see a possible change of the guard with the U.S. election looming. He should have been in peace talks about a year ago and not wait until there's a transition. Oh, the wrong president won. Now they're not supporting us. That's correct. Now you don't have chips to play. Now you're SOL. You have no leverage. You could have all the courage in the world you want, but you got no leverage. LBB Zelensky said himself he does not want a ceasefire. Of course not. Look, I hate to say this because it's going to sound cynical, But you don't think there's, you know, in a roundabout way, Ukraine wants to milk this? If Ukraine could have this go 20 years, they'll have it go 20 years. Look, man, I'm just saying. We could sit here and say things like democracy doesn't have price. You go tell the Brits 3%, we're going to raise 3% tax on everything because democracy doesn't have a price. I want to see how long that goes, LBB. Right? That ain't democracy. Exactly. Yeah, L. Bob takes an L. Of course. This dude is out here talking all this stuff, and we all know. I mean, I don't know if you guys know. I can tell you this. I've been to England. Okay. If Europeans are cheap and they're counting nickels, Brits are counting pennies, bro. It's all Brits calculate everything in money. You tell Brits they got to pay an additional 3% tax. Shit, you might just have a revolution inside of Britain. But you want to come up here and say democracy doesn't have price. Yeah. I want to know how much England is going to pay on that. LBB, you aren't even talking with the conversation now. Just blow, bro. Exactly. Big. What's up, Big Power Late Night? What's happening? Hey, man, we just talking politics. We talking dogs. We talking everything we want to talk about. Oh, man, I'm so glad I'm here. Anthony Whelan, Ukraine is the biggest GoFundMe in history. Exactly. I hate to say this because I have friends that are Ukrainian. But the bottom line is the bottom line. When you don't have leverage and you're being financed, sooner or later that banknote is going to come past due, and the bank is going to determine, I don't want to keep loaning you. That's what's happening. U.S. wants to end this, and we want to get our hands on their rare minerals to get our money back. Because if you look at the last 50 years, we never get our freaking money back. And then you got Europeans talking about, oh, NATO this, NATO that. You don't pay your freaking NATO bills. NATO's nothing without the U.S., man. Come on, let's keep it real. Canada ain't going to do shit. France ain't going to do shit. And neither's England. Rolling, boom. Truth is always a rough spot. It sure is. It sure is a rough spot. And I hate that the Ukraine, look, the Ukraine to me is like a skinny dude that's got no muscles that got to jail. And they put him there by mistake. But that dude better know how to play the game quick before he becomes somebody's girlfriend in jail, if you know what I'm saying. Ukraine has no leverage. And it almost seems like Zelensky decided to be arrogant at the wrong freaking time. And I'm not saying by the way he spoke. I'm talking about trying to use the media in front of Trump and J.D. Vance in front of the American public in order to get his way. Right? So now he pissed off his main ally, who already told him, I'm not going to keep paying for your shit. Give me your rare earth. Pay me back. Let's call this a day. He doesn't want that. Raul is giving this lick way too much screen time. There are many people agreeing with me on here. Why are you not showing what they are saying as well? Okay. Queen's New Blood says this way off topic. I want honest opinion on MSB MRO Ohio, owned by Becco Haston. Would love a live about stud talk on random studs, giving honest opinions on them. Here's the thing, Queens. I used to do a bully stack off, and this community would only show up when there was a $5,000 grand prize. Right? And so the financier of that bully stack off yours truly over here at QBN Kennel, realized this community doesn't really give a shit about QBN or anything we're really putting out. I'm talking about in its majority. But when there's money, they're there. And so I decided we're no longer going to be doing things like a bully stack off or doing things like who's got the best stud, because at the end of the day, that's free propaganda for people that right now, instead of coming on our live and supporting QBN, they could give three shits. They're either in the club or they're sleeping or doing something else. So you see, like I told you before, it's all about, leverage, and this community is not a community that I feel that is worth for me to sit here on my platform and direct my attention at studs that are not here in QBN. Because at the end of the day, they take all the attention and they give absolutely nothing. Kind of like NATO. I'm just saying. Coach Karen cracking up. Sally Adams, I respect your view and opinion, Raul. That's one way to look at it. I don't agree with all of it, but you give me points to think about. That's what this is all about, Sally. I'm not always right, but yeah, I think it was orchestrated, but it wasn't orchestrated by Trump or Vance. In fact, I think they were surprised. And the reason I think they were surprised is because you could tell in J.D. Vance's voice how he raised his voice, because he was like surprised that, this cat's trying to pull this shit off in front of all the cameras right here inside of the Oval Office. You see what I'm saying? And I think Zelensky, I think he felt that was the last card he had, and he played it, and it backfired. LBB, well, I'm sorry to break to you, but America alone is not as strong as you think. America has enemies than any other country. This is true. But we're definitely stronger than England, France, Germany, Poland, the entire of Europe put together. We're definitely stronger. So what do you want me to tell you? Shay G says, Sally Adams, I've never met you, but I love you. Big Island, low chips, it's the shits. George, facts, Robin. If you only educate on history and politics, will understand. And if his fans they are gone. I'm not sure what you're saying. If you could elaborate. Sally, I love you too, Miss Shay. I'm just old crazy Southern Yankee woman. Southern Yankee woman. Shade Tree just gifted a membership. Shade Tree. Let me.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Thank you, Shade Tree, number love. Thank you for your donation. George says, I'm an American, and it's sad to admit we haven't won a war since the time we separated from Britain. I don't know, man. I don't know if I could agree with that. I believe Iraq. Now, I was against that war, but I think we pretty much did whatever we wanted in Iraq. But again, man, we all have opinions. Sally, you're sunshine. Karen Fredia, Xena, Mr. LBB says that's not true, Raul. I'll have to fact check you on that one. Russia is cut off from all NATO deals. Their money is even frozen. Yeah, bro. Now that the war started with Ukraine, before the war started with Ukraine, NATO was buying liquid gas and buying oil from Russia. Who do you think Russia's selling to, man? Come on, bro. You can't come up in here talking about democracy doesn't have a pricing. You didn't know that Germany was buying oil from Russia, the biggest economy in Europe? Come on, bro. It is frozen now. It is frozen. But here's the deal. If Russia has been historically your enemy, right? Russia made a deal with Nazi Germany to halve Poland and take over Ukraine. I mean, they have done it. They have done it every chance they can. Why the hell for the last 30, 40 years you've been buying oil from them? I'm just saying. Big Island knows what I'm talking about. She says facts. I miss that's good, man. We still going. Coach Karen says this is why they don't want to teach this in schools. The libs don't want choice and understanding of politics and economics. Here, listen. And coach, you hit on a point. Listen, everything is tied to money, guys. Everything is tied to money. Whether we like it or not, it is tied to money. And, you know, a war like this, when the U.S. is the one that's financing it, and we, for the last, I want to say 2 years, we've seen, for the last 2.5 years, we've seen inflation in this country like we haven't seen before. You see, that's the fastest way you turn public opinion against this war in the Ukraine. If Zelensky was talking to us in 2019, pre-COVID, we probably would lend our ear to him more. But right now, when you go to McDonald's and a value meal's like $13, yeah, no, we're not too interested in listening to you, bro. I'm just saying. He wants to make a new deal now. Trump said he didn't have time to talk about it right now. Exactly. Now he realized he fucked up. Now he wants to drop his drawers and spread his cheeks. Bro, I just, listen, I understand that Zelensky is in the wrong side, or he's fighting the noble war here. I get that. But the minute the U.S. voted against condemning Russia for attacking Ukraine in the United Nations, that's game over, bro. That's the moment you say, hey, guys, look, we fought a good fight. Let's cover our ass at this point. That's all you got. Hi, Travis. The name of your kennel is great, but I think you might want to stay true to it. I had 2 glasses of red wine. LBB, you don't see all the soldiers our prime minister sending to Ukraine. You need to do your research first. No, LBB, honestly, I don't. I don't care how many soldiers are being sent from England. I don't care. I care about the U.S., right? And Zelensky just dropped the ball, so tell your prime minister to send more soldiers over there because they're definitely going to need it, bro. They're definitely going to need it now. I can guarantee you that. Yeah. It says, LBB, are you even American? No, he's Brit. He's Brit. Coach Karen, yeah, I am last standing for that freedom, LBB. You want to talk price? What's your life worth, sir? Exactly. I want to see England take over the role. Since you said America's not as strong as we say we are. Hey, England, France, Germany, step up. Now's your chance to shine. Now's your chance to show the world that the U.S. is not who we say they are. It's a good thing we're all aren't on an open call. Coach B blowing her whistle and someone yelling time out. It'd be, hey, Sally, it sounds something like something like that, right? All right. Hey, look who we got here. Coach Karen decided, hey, you know what, Raul? I'm going to go ahead
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
and become a member again, Coach Number Love. I appreciate you. Thank you. Listen, guys, I like to cut to the chase. I will say, I know Ukraine is fighting the right fight and they're fighting for their lives and all that, but that's not where it starts and ends, because had the U.S. never financed them, the war would have been over very quickly, very, very quickly. When Trump saying he gave them the javelins so they could take out their tanks and take out all these things, one of the reasons people don't like Trump is because somebody here said Trump talks like a mobster. Yeah, well, what the fuck you think Putin is? what do you think Xi Jinping is over there in China? I'd rather have the baddest mobster on earth than to have an old man that, forgot what he ate for lunch going in there. You know what I'm saying? Detailer obviously wants to make a problem regardless. You're coming to the U.S. to cause a stir internally. Yeah, that's what he was trying to do. And at the end, your purpose wasn't to come to a solution. He wants a war. That's the point. He wants this to keep going because it's convenient for Ukraine, for possibly his political party, his political ambitions. But here's the problem. Every month, we keep forking over. And Trump's like, I don't want to fork over anymore. I understand this is a noble cause and all that. I want this done. I want my money. Where's my money? And Zelensky's like, oh, hold up, bro. I get it. I'm going to have to show up over there. I'm going to have to look at the camera and talk to the American people. And he did, and it backfired. And I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did because I think going forward, when Trump says make a left because we financed it, yeah, you might want to go make a left, bro. You might want to go make a left. Would you want a ceasefire if your territory and democracy was at stake? No, absolutely not. And the deal Trump is talking about doesn't even benefit Ukraine. Here's the problem, LBB. You're right. I wouldn't want a ceasefire. The problem is, it's not up to the Ukrainian citizen if they want a ceasefire. Because like I said earlier, had we not backed the Ukraine with arms and money, this war would have been over in 2 or 3 weeks. So we have financed them. So when you get finance, like when you're a kid and you're at a candy store, you ask mom for money. And then mom says, I'm going to give you $1, but you can't have chocolate. See, mom just put her rules on you because mom's the one that's paying. That's what I want to get across to you. Shatri says, can I just please God love and peace and love my bullies? Yeah. Shatri, without noticing on that comment, you're pretty much saying, I don't give a shit what's happening over there. I just want my shit to be nice and secure here. That's what I'm trying to tell these people. Americans in general, we don't want another Iraq for 20 years. We're here paying $50 billion a month. We don't want that. Iraq wants that. Ukraine wants that. They all want that. We don't want that. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are paying the bills. We're the big kids on the block. You think England, over here, LBB's talking all this about sending soldiers and all that. You think when we back out, you think England is going to face Russia by themselves? Come on, man. Them dudes, they count each bullet soldier has. Detailer says it's almost like a little villain who's putting all the Titans against each other when they all have respect for each other. That's it. You hit it on the head. Before this war, Zelensky could not sit on the same table where Putin, Xi Jinping, and Trump is or are. Just not. They're not a superpower. Luckily, they gained enough sympathy from us, and they had the last presidential administration gift them over $300 billion. What'd you think? This was going to go on for 30 years because it's convenient for you? I hate to tell you this, but there's no country in the world that's going to be doing that. Tell England right now, LBB, tell England to fork over 20% of its budget yearly because you think democracy has no price. Let's bro, I've never met, and I hate to say this because I have Brit friends, bro, and they're going to want to kill me when I say this, but I've never met people more involved with money than people from Britain and Argentina, which is funny because they were at war once. Them people, they counting the last little penny. And you out here talking about like we should be fronting more money and more this and more that. Come on, man. All right. George says, well, if you think democracy does have a price, I'm happy you were not the president at the time of World War II. Listen, war has a price, whether it's money or death count. And I'm going to tell you something, bro. If you ever try and question my integrity, it'd be the last time you will ever comment on my platform. I not only served in the American military, I was in Somalia, bro. I know what it's like to be shot at, and I know what it's like to kill. So don't ever question my integrity, bro. I'm just letting you know that right now. You sound like you never had your best friend killed on a battlefield. You sound like you never been shot at. You sound like you never had to go kill somebody and then go dig a pit and bury them. It just sounds like the words that you're typing, it almost sounds like they're just too easy. Just letting you know, bro. Don't cross that line. Thank you, Fredia. Number love. I'm proud to say this is our president and vice president. Absolutely. You know why I say that as well, Fredia? Because they give a shit about us. And it's about time we stop giving a shit about others. I hate to say it that way because it sounds so horrible. But when you got NATO over here not paying their dues and buying oil and liquid natural gas from Russia for 30, 40 years, and now we're the ones that are supposed to pay for just about everything in Ukraine and keep fighting because democracy's got no price. Wait a minute. These same motherfuckers were buying things that they shouldn't be buying from Russia. I'm just saying, man. Let's see, Detailer. The point is we agree with Raul and you as well, BB. The thing that isn't understood is we are past agreement at this point. The frustration looms with Ukraine's president's pride without neutral power. Yeah, I feel like Zelensky's got a lot of pride, and I feel that he feels he has a lot of responsibility, and I can understand that. He's the president of Ukraine. But the fact of the matter is, the minute we, the United States, voted, right, to not condemn Russia for attacking Ukraine, it's game over, bro. Because we are your number one fan. We're financing you. Like, that's when the war's over. Anyways, I have to go to work. Nice debate, Raul, but respectfully, you'll see, bro. Take care, brother. Number love, man. I appreciate you. Even though we can agree to disagree, I appreciate you coming on and supporting us, bro. Queen says, got it. I agree. They should pay to be in the stack off. Yeah, you know, one of the things that I was thinking about, because I'm talking about whenever I do a live, if you bring a dog on and it scores 77.5 or higher, then what we would do is we let you spin a wheel and you have a chance at making $1,000. To be fair, I may charge $50 for you to come show your dog. Just be fair. See, the community doesn't want to do that. Community wants it all for free. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, yeah. Okay, LBB, that's fine, man. That's fine. That's fine. You're going to make some points that are valid, and you may be valid. But just remember this, bro. You got to say the same thing to NATO. There's no way we paid $350 billion and they paid 119. You see, it's very easy and it looks real pretty when you write that. You're not stronger than all your enemies put together, brother. Okay. When it's time to finance Ukraine, we paid $350 billion and NATO pays 119. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Are you our allies, or you're here to milk us too? You see what I'm saying? And that's what Trump is looking at. If Russia is right there next to you and you're buying natural liquid gas and oil from Russia, who can potentially be your enemy real quick, and then in addition to that, you're not paying your bills in NATO, and are you really, my friend? Are you really that committed to your own freedom? Bro, I can only go as far as, you know, as far as you go. Raul, not Rail. Raul. George Rogue says, don't forget, Raul, Russia is the one. I agree. They invaded Ukraine, bro. And don't say it was over a talk about NATO. It's just talk. And even though still not a good reason to invade and kill innocent people. George, listen, Putin is a rat. What he did is nasty. It's dirty. I will also tell you this. He's a smart rat, and he knows how to play geopolitics. And he knew Ukraine had no leverage. Otherwise, he would have never done what he just did. And he also knew that whoever was going to bankroll Ukraine, sooner than later, they were going to want to back out, because it's just, who's going to want to bankroll $350 billion, $100 billion every year? George, I think you need to get a hold of LBB, and you and him should sign a petition, send it to the British, I don't know, to the prime minister over there, and see if he wants to take over and pay for it. We don't want to pay for it no more, bro. That's a fact. That's a fact. We're done nation building. We're done long, extensive, unnecessary wars where all we do is pay and keep paying. We're done with that shit, man. We're tired. We're tired. Sally says it's not the win or lose, it's how you play the game and who's got the bigger toys. It's not who wins or lose, is who's got more money and who has the biggest gun. And you say America won the war in Afghanistan, but why is there still the Taliban in existence? George, because in that area of the world, let me tell you something, George. Let me tell you something. I'm from Venezuela originally. I was born there. Okay. I'm American through and through, but I was originally born in Venezuela. I could tell you, as a child in Venezuela, I could tell that people, you know, once I came to the States and I saw how things were here, people didn't give a shit about democracy the way we give a shit about democracy here. And you can't force people in another area of the world who has different culture and different customs to have to give a shit about their own democracy and their own world the way we do. Okay? Because 30 years before this war started, Holland was importing liquid gas and oil from Russia. So was Germany, the number one European economy. So was Poland. So is England. Who are you to tell them not to? They're sovereign. They're able to make deals they want. But they made their very enemy that much stronger. Then when it came not time to pay NATO bills, they didn't pay them. So at some point, when you do the bully stack off and nobody shows up, and they only show up when you do a $5,000 grand prize, at some point, you're like, fuck you. I'm not going to finance you. Fuck you. I'm going to treat you the same way you treat me. That's what happens. He thought he was going to come here and big dick us. Exactly. That's exactly what he thought he was going to do. He thought that he was going to catch Trump Vance and lottie-dottie everybody off guard. Plead to the American public and have a situation where Trump's hand is forced. And to me, it was a dumb move, and I'll tell you why. Trump just got done winning an election with both the popular vote and the Electoral College. He has a majority Republican Supreme Court and Congress. Yeah, he's pretty much a dictator for the next, 2 years before Congress has elections again. Like that was a stupid move on his part. It was the only move he had, and he played it. And now you're going to see, I promise you this week, he's going to want to make a deal, whatever deal. And now he's going to get fucked a lot harder than he would have gotten had he signed this agreement. Because pretty much Trump said, we're not gonna finance you anymore, okay? And you're gonna drop your drawers and you're gonna spread your cheek, right? Now he got kicked out of the White House. He's got nothing right now. I'm pretty sure all his cabinet or ministers or whatever now they're doing this here. Now you really have no leverage, right? Now you're going to come. It's like a whore knocking on a church door now. And now I'm pretty sure they're going to take advantage of you. That's geopolitics, my friends. I don't make the rules, but that's how it's played. Money and big guns. George Rogue, he said Iraq. Didn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whether it was Iraq or Afghanistan, those people's, their culture is one that is different than ours. You cannot force people that live in the Stone Age to everybody have a phone. Not going to happen. Okay? Not going to happen. Raul, let's talk dogs. Other people get paid for check for politics. It's all good, man. We do this because, in particular, the night talk is just to talk anything. But definitely, if you want to talk dogs, bring it up. Let's talk some dogs, man. Shade Tree, I don't like money. Money gets on my absolute nerves. However, if I can make a lemon out of loving you, I'd be a millionaire in a week or two. There you go. There you go. George Rogue, even in Iraq, there are Taliban, my friend. George. Okay, great. I applaud you. Let me explain something to you, George. I told you I'm from Venezuela. I left Venezuela in 1979. In 1979, Venezuela had the highest per capita GDP in all Latin American countries. We were producing about roughly 2.5 million barrels of oil at that time, and they were all pretty much coming here to the United States. Fast forward 40 years, and it's a clusterfuck socialist country. Why? Weren't we living well when we were selling oil to the States? We were, but we were not prepared, nor did we give the democracy that we had the importance that it needed. You can't force that upon anybody, my friend. I'm just saying. Detailer, not just bigger toys, who saved all of Trump cards in the deck and who used those resources in the beginning. Now you're playing Monopoly and maybe have to give up those things you acquired at the start. Exactly. Bro, the worst position you ever want to be is in a position where you have to ask somebody for money because they always want something in return. Right? They become your immediate banker. Right? It's his channel, it's his rant, and I'm for it. No, this is for, hey, I want everybody involved. The deal does not need to benefit Ukraine. They owe US. That's what I get the noble side of things, right? But I want you to tell your banker that you're not going to pay your car note, right? You need an extension of an extra 6 months because you saved a stray dog that came to your front porch. You had to pay $6,000. Now, I want to see what the bank's going to tell you. That was quite noble of you. But either you pay me your car, we're going to go, you know, we're going to repo. Shade Tree, I love Coach Karen. Blow the whistle and spin her wheel. Pretty please. Hold on. LBB wasn't listening the entire meeting. Probably not. I love you too, Queen's New Blood. It was Snoop Dogg. You know that 19 crime, Coach says. And my wins are always paid forward love. There you go. Travis, the Democrats would not have stood up to him and would have gave in, but they also wouldn't have put it on TV for the whole world to see. True. The Democrats also would have caused more inflation in this country, which it's ridiculous to me that they keep delving in the same mistake that makes them lose over and over again. The American public, don't fuck with our security and don't fuck with our money. Democrats, hey, let's give your money away. Let's cause inflation. Next election, you get your ass handed to you. Don't fuck with our money. That simple. Did you guys forget it's Friday in America? Actually, it's Saturday, guys. Once George says Detailer Trump is the one threatening our allies. Search it up. Not trying to be rude, just informative. Listen, Trump's not trying to threaten our allies. Trump realizes we are the biggest gorilla in the room, and our allies have all used us as a crutch in order to pay less of their obligations and even buy oil and liquid gas from the enemy. So I'm sorry, bro. I think it's Saturday now, actually. My bad. Yes, ma'am. Queen, yes, I was working the dogs and forgot I'm getting some Snoop Dogg wine. There you go. Yes, war is a total loss when people die. It sure is. War sucks, man. It really does. I'll be the first person to tell you that. Cheers and blessings, prayers, because life is a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. I heard that somewhere, right? Respect, Raul. Thank you, Miss Fredia. Number love. We got Legend Muscle Bully, huge fan, all the way from the UAE, Dubai. All right, man. Number love. Legend Muscle Bully, love your interviews and knowledge. Appreciate you, man. Queen's New Blood. Yep, most definitely. You're doing it right the right way in every angle. Thank you, man. Friday, and blow your horn and listen. All right. Y'all keep wanting to blow the horn. Just blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. There you go. All right. Here we go. Detailer says, have you seen these Colorado gun laws? Pissed off. Already passed first, now moving on to the House. No, Detailer, tell me more about that, man. I'm pro guns. I don't know if y'all figured it out, but I'm pretty conservative. So I'm pretty sure y'all figured that out by now. But that also doesn't mean, let me be clear about something, guys. Let me tell y'all something. Because unfortunately in America, we're so polarized. When you say you're conservative, that means that anything that Trump says, you agree with. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I don't agree with what he said about Palestine. I'm completely against, okay, let me say this right because I don't want it to come out wrong. I am for Jews. However, I am against the Israeli government, okay? And I am for Palestine having their own country, all right? So I don't agree with Trump wanting to take it over, kicking them out, and making it like a Riviera. I'm totally against that. So I just want to let you guys know and keep it real. Just because I'm conservative doesn't mean I agree with everything that Trump does or says. But I do agree with a lot of the things he does. I will say that. Sell out, Raul. Sell out what? Sell out what, Miss Shade Tree? Coach Karen Detailer, I'm a gun owner and taught gun safety for open carry. It's like owning a dog, bitch. So please elaborate. Yeah, absolutely. Detailer says, but if I have 50 enemies who aren't equipped, it's 50 people. You're not putting that it's 55-year-old kids. You have to make it make sense, not just bold statements. Have to have supporting fact. What are you talking about, Detailer? Be more exact, please. George Rogue, are you still serving? If not, why not? I have family that served World War II that would be appalled on what you're saying. I have a grandfather ready to fight again for the sovereignty he caught. The reason I am no longer serving is because I was medically discharged, first of all. Second of all, yeah, I don't expect your World War II grandfather to agree with me. The world has changed. Your World War II grandfather never served in Somalia. He didn't see the Twin Towers collapse. The world has changed from when he was there at World War II. So no, I wouldn't expect your World War II grandfather to agree with me, bro. That's impossible. Like, you know, that's like me agreeing with Gen Z and them being everything is a phone and they don't know how to change a wheel, a tire on a car and this and that. Me and them, we don't mesh. So I wouldn't expect that I would mesh with your grandfather. We're just two different generations, man. Yeah. D. Taylor says they're changing all the ways you have to get guns and ammo, which isn't making it illegal, but so difficult to get it that it potentially can be impossible, worse than Cali laws. Damn. You see, D. Taylor, that's something. That's something that people in Colorado need to get together, man. That's something that you cannot allow, bro. Shade Tree, I just want to say I read the book of Daniel today in the Bible about Shadrach, Meshach, and Bendigo and the furnace, and God can move mountains. Just so you know, say prayers. God loves us. Absolutely. Short guy, small hands. Oops. This is horrible. Coach Karen, can you have a normal debate without being disrespectful? No wonder your parents named you Karen. Oh, look, I'm gonna say this right now, man. That was wrong of you, but damn, that was you pretty witty. I give it to you, man. I call it like it is, but all I'm gonna say is be prepared because Coach Karen could be witty herself, man. All right. So actually, George, yes, if there's equal respect, see right there, you think you already had an upper hand on me. There you go, Coach. I know you're not going to let him slide. George says, not true. He was invited by Trump. Trump was trying to use the leverage of the war to do the mineral deal and take advantage of Ukraine. I'm happy it didn't bow down to Trump. Okay, so George, do me a favor, all right? I'm going to do this again next Friday, okay? I will, I'm willing to bet, George, I'm willing to bet 5 wheel spins. We have a prize wheel here. I'll give you 5 free wheel spins that if Zelensky does not make a deal with Trump in this coming week, Zelensky will now give up a lot more than he would have had he agreed to that deal today. And I think you could probably agree to that. Sally says, America has made herself the de facto caretaker of the globe. At some point, everyone has to take responsibility for themselves. America needs to take care of America for a while anyway. Absolutely. That's where we're at right now as a nation. Okay? And it's not about being selfish. It's almost like, you know, when you get divorced, you know, you got to kind of be by yourself for a while, kind of remake yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then when you're ready or whatever, then, you know, you do whatever you want to do. But we're kind of like at that point right now where we just had it rough for the last 2 years and we don't want to finance another freaking war. Oh, but our cause is noble. That's great. But you're absolutely right. That's your cause, not mine. It is what it is. Don't get me wrong. I agree with a lot of stuff Trump is doing, but this one with Ukraine is just ridiculous to me and sad. All right, George. And, you know, it's fair that you have your own opinion and your own outlook, man. But to me, to look at Trump's actions and not see Zelensky's actions leading up to this, to me, that's a big mistake. To me, it's a big mistake. Zelensky knew Biden could lose the war. Zelensky knew You know what I'm saying? And not from 3 or 4 months ago. I'm talking about if I was Zelensky about a year and a half ago, I would have found a way to stop the war and to get what I could at that time. And he probably could have gotten a little bit more concessions than what he's getting now, but he didn't. And so times change, and so do the dynamics. And when they do, you're stuck like Chuck, bro. What? On my knees? Why are you on your knees, Miss Shaytree? You're praying? She's praying. Coach Karen says, exactly, Sally. Sally, that's kind of the point. So folks are missing out on. Oh, man, let me dance. There you go. We're only the biggest gorilla because of our population and what we need to buy from our allies. Even our own resources wouldn't be produced effectively enough for our population, not realistically. Well, George, look, I'll tell you this. Yes, it's our population, right? But if you look at Europe, right, which is our main ally in the world, right, the NATO nations, what do they produce? Which one of them are completely self-sufficient? Which one of them has all that freaking oil that they don't need to buy Russia's oil? They don't. That's what makes geopolitics so complex, right? The fact of the matter is, Trump, since his first mandate, he was yelling bloody murder because NATO wasn't paying their bills. And think about it, Russia is right next to NATO. And who's buying Russia oil and Russia natural gas before the war started? Europe. So to a certain extent, George, I want you to answer me on this. Do you feel they kind of built up their own monster? Because that's what I feel like. Speaking of Israel, I don't think dual citizenship should be a thing, especially for people in politics. Look, I don't care what Israel does. I don't care if Israel wants to give you dual citizenship and bring people over there. I think that the history that the Jews had to deal with in this past century is a very dark and difficult pill to swallow. The Holocaust. What gets me is that these same people that dealt with that type of scenario ended up in a part of the world that didn't belong to them. And in addition, they have displaced many Palestinians. You see, people don't comprehend it. And look, people don't comprehend if you're Palestinian, for example, and you're born in Israel, you can't vote. So on top of that, Israelis, or the Israel government, one of the reasons they're giving dual citizenship to Jews is so that they could come and settle lands that actually belong to Palestine at some point. And so what's happening is genetic cleansing. It really is happening. And then, you got these people that are hurt, that don't have a country, that don't have a military. And then you have these terrorist groups like, Hamas and Hezbollah and whatever that take advantage of these situations. And it's an ongoing thing. I had a friend of mine that's Jew, and he told me, he said, how could you say that land isn't ours? In the Bible, it's the promised land. What I told him was, God promised you that land. The problem that I feel, and again, I'm not the most religious or biblical, but the reason I feel that there's going to be fighting there forever and ever is because God didn't deliver you into that land. All right. Y'all did a little deal with the United Nations in 1947 and you got that land, but God didn't deliver you to that land. Because had he delivered you to that land, he would have done it in such a way where you would have had peace from the get. And from the get, you never had peace because God didn't deliver you. And once again, as in many other times, the Jewish populace kind of let God down because rather than letting God be the one to deliver him there, they're like, hey, let us figure it out, and we're going to do it our way. And here we are. Number love for my Jewish people, man. I have Jewish friends. I also have Muslim friends. Assalamu alaikum to all of y'all as well. Number love. But that's what I feel about that, man. Shay, everybody, la daddy, everybody, daddy. All right. And you don't think America is not making money off the resources we buy from other countries? That's why we have taxes, my friend. George, that's what America and every other country should be doing, is finding a way to extract minerals and resources and putting the technology on the line in order to make your country better through taxes and also employment that you give other people. You're trying to make capitalism to be a bad thing. Are you saying that you're against capitalism? Because whether it's if we're not the ones that are extracting the minerals and making a buck on it, then Russia will be, or not China, but somebody else will be. You know what I'm saying? D. Taylor, you're not stronger than all your enemies put together, brother. Okay, bro. Okay. Are you saying militarily, economically, all the above? Because last time I checked, right, Russia's invading Ukraine. They're not invading the U.S. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why China hasn't invaded Taiwan. I'm just saying. JS Bulldogs, he showed up to our nation's most sacred office exactly in a pullover and tennis shoes 30 minutes late, then tried to change up the game. He embarrassed himself. JS, I couldn't agree with you more. The way he was dressed, I thought, was a slap in our face. I thought he came in a rebellious mode. And he might have promised some things back home to his people, but those are promises you can't keep because, you know what I'm saying? You're being financed by somebody. And when somebody finances you, they own you. They own you. I'm pro guns and pro nunchuck. There you go. Calling me a Karen is so weak, only confirms how you can't find a way out of your own weakness. Sorry what happened to you in Somalia. You should definitely talk about your experience down there for sure and educate what you've seen happen down there. But the UK can survive without us, in my opinion. The UK can survive without us? Please, bro. The point I'm trying to make is we need to put ourselves in other shoes, be more open-minded. Arrogance is ignorance. Listen, we've put ourselves in other people's shoes. Didn't Biden fork over $350 billion to Ukraine plus arms? We did. We did, bro. That's the beauty of our democracy. You got a president that saw it your way, and Zelensky got his way with that president for about a good 3 years. I'm not hating on that. Biden had the prerogative to do it. He was the president at the time, and he did it. To be Zelensky and not see that there could possibly be a change in tide, to me, is unforgivable. If I was Zelensky, I would have been rocking and rolling for about 2 years, and then about 11 months before the next election, I'm trying to find every which way to do peace deal. Because I realize that it's been high tide, but sooner or later it's going to be low tide for me. And he didn't do that. So now you got to pay the piper. He doesn't want to pay the piper either. He wants the piper to keep financing him. Well, you don't make the call. The piper does. They're not the true Jews anyways. Hey, man, I've heard people say that the true Jews are down in Ethiopia. I am not a Jew. I am in no position to point at anyone and say who is or who isn't. I'm just saying what I heard. I've never been divorced, and I don't even want to be. Good to hear. Coach Karen, you're so beautiful. You're more precious than gold. None but love. George Rogue says, not debate, brother, but I got to go ahead to bed. None but love, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate your comments. You're as well, Shea Tree. You're special, my love. Man, there's a lot of love going on around here. D. Taylor, you asked what I was talking about with the 50 people statement I made earlier. I was replying to that statement. Okay. Again, bro, I'm not getting it. I'm sorry. 350 billion still a problem. Exactly. You see, that's what I'm talking about, Big Island Bully fan. Biden forked over 350 billion. And who's counting? He might have forgot a couple billion. You know, Biden had memory issues. And we sent weapons over there, and we still have an ongoing problem. It doesn't go away. And we keep talking about our allies, but our allies don't want to pay the bill either. They want us to fork over the bill because there's no such thing as a price for democracy, as they say. I'm just saying, man. JS says, what do you think about the gold cards Trump wants to sell? Good idea or no? To me, bro, Trump is a bit pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a good idea because you're bringing in capital into the U.S., whether you like it or not. Right now, China is on a bit of a downturn economically, and they're also having a population issue. Their population is actually decreasing. So the reason I'm mentioning that is because they were trying to fight the dollar by converting the oil transactions, right? Through either BRICS or the Chinese renminbi. I forget what it's called, the Chinese yuan. And in my opinion, because they are a dictatorship, and in addition, their economy has kind of crashed because they had this whole real estate issue. And then in addition to that, their population is going down. I would like to, make America again as the number one hub for you to come over here and bring money from the rest of the world here. Now's the time. Okay, because for 30, 40 years, the rest of the world was putting money into China because China was the manufacturing hub of the world, right? So I don't know. I think, if he wants to sell $5 million gold cards, why not, man? You bring them people here. You got to realize there's a lot of businesses nowadays because of technology where people can work from home. And so let me give you an example. Say you live in Colombia and you have a business where you do internet advertising or whatever. Would you really want to be living in Colombia where security it's kind of dicey? Or would you much rather, I don't know, come over here to Texas where we have no state tax and, you rent a couple of mobile homes and you bring people over because you got that type of money and you run that company here. I'd rather you run that company here because you're going to have bank accounts here. You're going to be putting gas here. You're going to be buying food here. You're going to make our economy stronger. So I don't see it as a bad thing. We never should have gotten involved anyway. You see, I'm sure if we made a vote of Americans in this live, the majority, as much as it's a noble cause that Ukraine is standing up to Russia, nobody gives a shit. I'm just keeping it real. Nobody cares what's happening right now in Venezuela. Well, we have a dictator and he did that. Yeah, you were once a democratic country. You didn't give a shit about your democracy, and now you're up shit creek without a paddle, and we don't care. That's just a fact. Divorce makes you dig deep, Shade Tree. In my case, it saved 2 lives. There you go. There you go. Listen, I am of the belief that when you have conflict, and I don't mean like in a fight or a war or something like that. What I'm talking about is our lives. I feel that when you have trying times in your life, it really brings out the best in you. You may not see it that way, okay? Because emotionally you could be a mess, or it could impact you in so many different ways. But once that storm passes and time passes and you're able to look back, you're able to see that you grew from there, right? That's what I believe. Yeah, I heard the Jews in Africa as well. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Coach Karen, well, someone needs some condoms, and it's not the dogs somewhere. Oh, Lord. Oh boy. Elon could give everyone $1 billion and he still have $1 billion. No, I don't think that's true, bro. I don't think that's true. Coach Karen, business man with a business plan. Show me the money and bought the check in the mail. There you go. Oh, not the check in the mail. I think Raul is one of the most beautiful people I've seen in my life. Thank you, Miss Shatry. I appreciate you. I see the inside, I see the heart, I see the soul, and that's what makes my life so beautiful, in the heart and the soul. None but love, Shatry. Are you drinking fine wine, Shatry? I think she is. I think she's probably on her fourth or fifth cup. I'm drinking water, H2O, actually. Now I only had 2 glasses, but that was enough. I feel so much. So much. All right, Looney Tunes says the so-called Jews in Israel now are converts. They converted to Judaism when in Germany a few hundred years ago. I don't know that history of it. I will say this. For a people that had to deal with the Holocaust and all those tragedies, it's pretty ironic that they are displacing Palestinians in their own lands and, kind of doing some things that were done to them. Now, I get that, Hamas, they killed over 1,000 Jews and it was a terrorist act and all that. I get that, man. And I get that Israel wanted to respond. I get that as well. But I just feel that land, it wasn't delivered to them in the way that God said he would. And therefore, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you tell your kid, that car is yours, when you turn 18, but when he's 16, he doesn't give a shit. He jumps in the car and he goes joyriding. Then a cop stops him. Now the cop is the bad guy. No, the cop's not the bad guy. I told you I was going to give you the car, but you're not ready to get it now. But I want it now, but now it's not the time for you to get it. You see what I'm saying? Greatest intention, and above all, I'm so grateful and thank the QBN family. Number love. She's drinking Snoop Dogg crime wine. There you go. So listen, guys. Hey, listen. This is night talk number 2. I think I've been a little bit more candid than I usually am. I know I cursed quite a bit. But sometimes, look, I'm not really into cursing, but sometimes when I get into political debates or even religious debates, I do curse because I kind of feel that it puts the exclamation point where I really want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Is it necessary? Probably not, man. And I probably shouldn't be doing it, but I did it. So it is what it is. Looney Tunes says, I agree with you, Raul. Yeah, I agree as well. I do believe that God wanted to deliver the Jews into that land. I just don't think he did it, because I think had he done it, he would have done it in the presence of everyone, and everyone, due to fear to God, would have been like, hey, bro, that's their land. It's all good. But it wasn't done that way. Sally says, I like to see this country pass a few years without getting into a conflict or a war or someone else's war. This country has been in a lot of fights. Yeah, I agree. I love you, fans, for life. No matter, we're family. We stick together. You got it, Miss Shay. Number love. Stay true, Raul. Number love. So, hey, guys, this is the conclusion of our second night talk. I appreciate y'all for coming by. And let me just leave y'all. Let me just leave y'all with these with these comments of Zelensky with Trump, because I don't know, man. I still can't get over he had the ball.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was,
he
I
killed.
was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly
but-
right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. JD, you are speaking about what do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems.
Here we go.
You should
Kill the
be
whistle.
thanking the president for trying to bring it.
Oh yeah, we are going for a whole hour. Straight dog talk and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate. And learn to cooperate. Yeah, hit that like button and do your thing. 5 membership will get you in. So let's talk dogs and don't waste no time. Monday 7 p.m. CST. Don't come doing the A.